gardens, springs, fields, palm trees laden with fruit, carving your fine houses from the mountains. Be mindful of God and obey me. Do not obey those who are given to excess, and who spread corruption in the land instead of doing what is right. They said, you are bewitched. You are nothing but a man like us. Show us a sign if you are telling the truth. He said, here is a camel. She would have her turn to drink, and so should you, each on a specified day. So do not harm her, or the torment of a terrible day will befall you. But they hamstrung her. In the morning they had cause to regret it. The punishment fell upon them. There truly is a sign in this, though most of them will not believe. Your Lord alone is the Almighty, the Merciful.
Okay. Faisal, what are some of the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Salih alayhi salam went to his people and he reminded them about? No, the camel was a sign, right? After he reminded them about their blessings, they said, you're possessed. We think you're possessed. You're talking nonsense. That's what they said. We think you're possessed. If you're telling the truth, bring us a sign. Then he brought the camel. But before that, he went and told them, right? Reflect on these blessings. What are some of the blessings? Come back to you. One of the sisters. Can't say it? Crops, okay? Gardens, springs, right? Where are they? Where's the people they're in a desert area. So if you have crops, you have springs, you have water, you have vegetation. These are blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so how did they respond when they were reminded of these blessings? Did they say, you know what, you're right? No. Right? When we're reminded of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us, do we say, you know what, these are blessings, alhamdulillah? Do we? Or do we say that, no, you know what, I worked hard for this, this is what I get. If you work hard, this is what you get. Not necessarily. The one who gave you the ability to work hard is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one that blessed you with your intellect is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is what Qarun said. When Qarun was reminded of the blessings, he said, قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. This is because of the blessings, or the knowledge that I possess. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Zumar will talk about it. When a person is in a state of desperation and he calls upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes whatever difficulty, whatever adversity that person's facing. Then he said that it's because of the knowledge that I have. I was able to work my way out of this because I'm so smart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ قَالَهَا الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِ. People before you said the same thing. And they faced what this person will face as well. So we need to acknowledge the blessings, number one. All blessings come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, when someone reminds us of these blessings, right, we say alhamdulillah, we give shukr. And the way to give shukr is not just to say alhamdulillah, one of the ways. But we need to utilize these blessings to bring ourselves and others closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, Faisal was talking about how the camel, right? The camel, they asked him for a sign, and then they asked him for the camel. What was the condition of the camel? What did he tell them about the camel? Do you remember? He said, here is a camel, 155. Raza. All right, yeah, the water. All right, the camel is going to have 1 day to drink, and the rest of the people of the town are going to have 1 day to drink. And this was a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to test them, and they failed the test. They said, okay, fine. They saw the camel come out, they saw this, and they said, okay, this is a sign. Then after a little while, because their hearts were not pure, their hearts are corrupt, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make a sign that even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down things from the, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if He sent down angels, if He brought people back to life, if He sent people to come talk to us, resurrected people, come talk to us face to face, people would not believe unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed for them to believe and wanted them to believe. So eventually they said that, oh, it's drinking all of our water. Look, is it fair that one camel is drinking 1 day, all of us are drinking the other day? So they made a plan, right, to kill the camel, and we'll talk a little bit more about the specific plan that they made. in Surah Naperville, inshallah ta'ala. But you see, they killed the camel and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. Then again, the same thing. I'm going to say it over and over again because I need this point to sink in. Allah says it over and over again. It's not repetitive. It's every one of these stories. There truly is a sign. Though most of them will not believe, your Lord alone is the Almighty and the Merciful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand these signs, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to believe and learn from these signs. Ameen.
The people of Lut too called the messengers liar. Their brother Lut said to them, will you not be mindful of God? I am a faithful messenger to you. Be mindful of God and obey me. I ask no reward from you, for my only reward is with the Lord of the worlds. Most of you, unlike other people, lust after males, and abandon the wives that God has created for you. You are exceeding all bounds. But they replied, Lut, if you do not stop this, you will be driven away. So he said, I loathe what you do. Lord, save me and my family from what they are doing. We saved him and all his family, except for an old woman who stayed behind. Then we destroyed the others, and poured a rain of destruction down upon them. How dreadful that rain was for those who had been forewarned. There truly is a sign in this, though most of them will not believe. Your Lord alone is the Almighty, the Merciful.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's not much that needs to be commented here. But you see, the people who do these type of actions, they cross all bounds and all limits. And Lut alayhi salam, he said, I loathe what you do. I loathe what you do. Inni li'amalikum min al-qali. I hate what you do. So as a Muslim, this action needs to be hated. It's not permissible, it's crossing limits, it's unnatural that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that it's unnatural. How are you lusting? Must you, unlike other people, lust after males? And abandon the wives. Abandon the wives that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for you. So to anybody that says that it is people are created in this way and these type of things, the Quran is evidence against them. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He destroyed the people of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam, except for an old woman that remained behind. And the old woman, as we know in Surah Tahrim, was the wife of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam. Why? Because she did not stop the evil, rather she helped others commit this evil. And most of the scholars, Mufassirin, say that when the messengers alayhi salatu wasalam came to Lut alayhi salam, she told the people that there's beautiful men standing in my house, that this is what you guys want to do, go and see them. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them with a very dreadful and horrible rain. And in one surah, in Surah Hud, it says, Hijaratan min sijil, right, that was baked in the fire of hell, and min teen, and this is also in Surah Hijr, that they were baked in the fire of hell, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed the people that do this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and all of our children from these type of actions. But again, I'm going to emphasize this point. If there are people that do these type of things, we don't agree with their actions. We don't agree with the actions that they commit. We condemn the actions, but that doesn't mean that we can be rude, oppressive, obnoxious, and these type of things to them. Right? They still have human rights as us. There are neighbors, there are colleagues, and things like that. So people sin against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Right? When a person drinks, a person engages in other types of things, right? This is all haram. Do we agree with the action? No. But does that give us the right to be rude to them, to be mean to them? No, it doesn't give us that right either. Okay?
The forest dwellers too call the messengers liars. Shu'aib said to them, will you not be mindful of God? I am a faithful messenger to you. Be mindful of God and obey me. I ask no reward of you, for my only reward is with the Lord of the worlds. Give full measure, do not sell others short. Weigh with correct scales, do not deprive people of what is theirs. Do not spread corruption on earth. Be mindful of God who created you and former generations. But they replied, you are bewitched. You are nothing but a man like us. In fact, we think you are a liar. Make bits of the heavens fall down on us if you are telling the truth. He said, my Lord knows best what you do. They called him a liar, and so the torment of the day of shadow came upon them. It was the torment of a terrible day. There truly is a sign in this, though most of them will not believe. Your Lord alone is the Almighty, the Merciful.
So you see Shu'aib alayhi salam, he goes and he tells his people same things. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he addresses the economic aspect, right? That be fair. And wealth, if a person is not fair in terms of their wealth, and love of wealth enters their heart, that can destroy a person in this dunya and the akhirah. You see, they began to cheat. They wanted more and more. And they began to cheat people, give full measure, do not sell others short, weigh with correct scales, do not deprive the people what is theirs, do not spread corruption on earth. All of these things, if we cheat people and how we deal with them, right? We steal people's wealth. We take wealth from one person and give it to another that doesn't deserve it. Or even if it can have good intentions, doesn't matter. Right? We have to be very, very careful when it comes to this, because if we are not proper or we don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it comes to money and dealing with others, then this is how corruption on earth gets spread. So we have to be very, very careful when it comes to this. And then, yeah, they accused him of being a liar. What did they tell him to do? They asked for the punishment. Not only the punishment specifically, what did they ask for him to do? Cause bits of the sky to fall down on them and to destroy them. So you see the arrogance of the people. And the Quraysh, wa'adu billah, they did the same thing. They said in Surah Anfal, they said, oh Allah, if this is the truth, right, destroy us. Rather than asking, oh Allah, if this is the truth, give us the ability to follow it, guide us to it. They said, oh Allah, if this is the truth, we don't want it. Let us be destroyed. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we don't destroy them, because the Prophet ﷺ seeks forgiveness for them. And the Prophet ﷺ is among them. So the Prophet ﷺ, even though these people were openly challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is even more merciful than the Prophet ﷺ. He gave them time. At the time of Shu'aib alayhi salam, what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, my Lord knows best what you do. They called him a liar, and so the torment of the day of shadow came upon them, and it was a torment of a terrible day. One thing that I just want to emphasize here, and I caught it a little bit late, you know, it says, when it comes to the Prophet, it says the people of Lut too call the messengers liars. It's not an accurate translation, right? Kadhaba means rejected. They rejected them, right? Yes, by rejecting, they did call them liars eventually, right? But they rejected the messengers. It's a more accurate definition and translation here. Okay? The day that they were punished, the day the punishment came upon them, right? It came in a form. The sun came. What's the day of shadow? Most of the Mufassirin say it's the day that the punishment came upon them, and it came up like the sun rose, but it was like that was a sign that their punishment was coming. Right? This is a sign that they were punished, and the day that they were punished. Yeah, this is what most of the Mufassirin say, and this is the torment. Yeah. The day that shadow, the sun rose a little bit different, was a sign that they were going to be punished, and the day that happened, it was a very difficult and painful punishment. Again, the end of this is the last story that is mentioned in this surah. But again, how does it end? إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. Truly, there is a sign in this, though most of them will not believe. Your Lord alone is Almighty, the Merciful. Okay, what does it mean that إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ? That most of them will not believe. What does that mean?
They won't take the lessons.
Okay, they won't take the lessons. Okay, if most of them won't believe, there will be a few that will. Right? There will be a few that will. Allah didn't say all of them will not believe. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the few that believe and learn lessons from this and change the way that we live our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the ending of the surah will talk about the miraculous nature of the Qur'an and how the Qur'an is different than poetry.
Truly, this Quran has been sent down by the Lord of the worlds. The trustworthy Spirit brought it down to your heart, Prophet, so that you could bring warning in a clear Arabic tongue. This was foretold in the scriptures of earlier religions. Is it not proof enough for them Is it not proof enough for them that the learned men of the children of Israel have recognized it? If we had sent it down to someone who was not an Arab, and he had recited to them, they still would not have believed in it. So we make it pass straight through the hearts of the guilty. They will not believe in it until they see the grievous torment, which will suddenly hit them when they are not expecting it. And then they will say, can we have more time? How can they ask that our torment be brought to them sooner? Think, if we let them enjoy this life for some years, and then the promised torment came upon them, what good would their past enjoyment be to them? Never have we destroyed a town without sending down messengers to warn it. As a reminder from us, we are never unjust. It was not the jinn who brought down this Qur'an. It is neither in their interest nor in their power. Indeed, they are prevented from overhearing it. So Prophet, do not invoke any gods beside God, or you will incur torment. Warn your nearest kinsfolk and lower your wing tenderly over the believers who follow you. If they disobey you, I bear no responsibility for your actions. Say, I bear no responsibility for your actions. Put your trust in the Almighty, the Merciful, who sees you when you stand up for prayer and sees your movements among the worshippers. He is the all-hearing, the all-knowing. Shall I tell you who the jinn came down to? They came down to every lying sinner who readily lends an ear to them, and most of them are liars. Only those who are lost in error follow the poets. Do you not see how they rove aimlessly in every valley? How they say what they do not do? Not so those poets who believe. Do good deeds, remember God often, and defend themselves after they have been wrong. The evildoers will find out what they will turn to.
In the first part of this last section, ayah 192, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنَّهُ لَتَنزِيلُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ نَزَلَ بِهِ الرُّوحُ الْأَمِينُ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ لِتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُنذِرِينَ بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us about the Qur'an, the miraculous nature of the Qur'an. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it down. Jibreel alayhi salam to the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam could warn the people in a very clear Arabic language. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it that the people, ulama of Bani Israel, they know that this was coming. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even though they knew this was coming, even though it's very clear, there are some people, some criminals, سَلَكْنَاهُ فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. It passes right through the hearts of the criminals. لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ حَتَّى يَرَوُا الْعَذَابَ الْأَلِيمِ. They will not believe in it until they see a very grievous and very painful punishment, which will come upon them suddenly. Then what's going to happen when they see this punishment? They're going to ask for more time. And there's not going to be more time which is given to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to use our time wisely. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, never have we destroyed a town without sending down a messenger to warn it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is never unjust. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how the Qur'an differs from poetry. Right? وَمَا تَنَزَّلَتْ بِهِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. The Qur'an was not sent down by shayateen, and it's neither in interest nor in their power. And the Qur'an is sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that do not commit shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be good to the believers, put his tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ayah 214 is important because this is the stage in which after this ayah was revealed, وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. We know the story from the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went up on Safa, and Mount Safa, and he said that if I was going to tell you that an army was coming, would you believe me? And they said, yes, we would believe you. Is there an army that's coming? Then he said, no, but I am a prophet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he started calling people. And then Abu Lahab said, Tabbat ya Muhammad, right? May you be destroyed, Muhammad. Is this what you gathered us for? So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. So you know that this is the ayah 214, was when the Prophet ﷺ was given permission by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to call people openly to Islam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells to who do the jinn come to? Right? The jinn, they come down to people who are lying and they're sinners, who listens to them. And some of the poets, right? The poets, they say things, sometimes they're affected by jinn when they give their poetry. And people also who follow poetry. So those people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that what do? They say that which they did not do. If you look at poetry, especially pre-Islamic poetry, and even after Islam came to a certain extent, it's a lot of just false praise. Just false praise, and Mutanabbi, he was one of the most famous poets, Arabic poets, right? And they said that he was killed because of his poem. Because in his poem, he talked about his courage. And he talked about how courageous he was. So there was a time where he needed to be courageous, and then he got killed because it was foolish. So he said, no, I have to defend my honor by acting upon my words. And people are like, look, in your poems you said you could fight lions, you could fight this. It's just a guy, go fight him. So he's like, okay, what do I do? So he ended up getting killed this way. This is, I don't know if it's true, Allah Alam, if it's true, or if it's just like, okay, Allah Alam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, but the poets of Islam, the poets who believe, do good deeds, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often, and defend themselves after they have been wrong. These are the ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He absolves from blame. Right? So poetry is okay, but it has to follow these conditions. Right? Other types of poetry, it can be evil, can be calling to things which are not permissible, but the poets that call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without going in mubalagha, without increasing or exaggerating his status, this is permissible. And the evildoers will find out what they will return to, and we always have to remember that we will all return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah Ash-Shu'ara is a very, very powerful surah. Right? This is one of the surahs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remember, I talked to you about Shayyabatni Hud wa akhawatuha. When the Prophet Aisha radiallahu anha and the other companions, they said, oh, some of your hair has become gray. So he said, Hud and its sisters, meaning surahs like it, have caused me to worry, causing my hair to become gray. Alright, before we take a break, inshallah, Stimona has an announcement about continuous charity, inshallah. After our announcement, inshallah, we'll take a 10-minute break and we'll come back and we'll finish Surah Naperville, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.